Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. General Hospital Tuesday, October 8 recap. Carly's private investigator problem, Rocco's outburst, and Lucky goes wild. General Hospital, GH, spoilers recap for Tuesday, October 8 reveals that Lucky Spencer's, Jonathan Jackson, liver enzymes were elevated due to a parasite he picked up during his travels. Lulu Spencer, Alexa Havens, could suffer a grim fate if Lucky donated to her, so Lucky felt hopeless as he returned to her beside. As Lucky pushed Lulu to hang on until they found another donor, Rocco Falconieri, FameCare overheard. Dante Falconieri, Dominic Zamprogna, also popped up thinking Lucky would play the hero, but Rocco lashed out over Lucky not being able to save Lulu and stormed off. Lucky eventually made his way to Bobby's, where he asked for Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, and learned she wasn't there. After Lucky ordered everyone out of his family's restaurant, he demolished the place in a fit of rage. Lucky smashed glasses and plates before hurling a chair to the floor in his angry despair. At Pentonville, Sam McCall, Kelly Monaco, told Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Grahn, that her own search for the gun had turned up empty, and so had the PCPD's. Both the police and Sam planned to go back down for another dive, but Alexis wanted Sam to focus on keeping the peace between her sisters. Alexis was afraid Molly Lansing Davis, Kristen Vaginos, and Christina Corinthos Davis, Kate Mancy, could make things worse if Sam didn't keep them under control. Martin Gray, Michael E. Knight, spoke to Alexis alone later and told her about the private investigator he'd sent after Carly. Alexis was concerned about Martin trying to point the finger at Sonny Corinthos, Morris Bernard, but he explained that poking holes in Carly's alibi could keep her own case from going to court. Martin acted like they wouldn't even have to do much since Sonny already ended a date early with Carly and publicly joined Natalia Ramirez, Eva LaRue, at her table. At the Metro Court, Max Scorpio, John J. York, bickered with Felicia Scorpio, Christina Wagner, since he didn't think Holly Sutton, Emma Sams, was good for Robert Scorpio, Tristan Rogers. Even so, Felicia suggested that if Holly and Robert wanted to be together, there was nothing they could do about it. Mac disagreed since he barged in on Robert's catch-up session with Holly and kicked her out under the guise of police business. Robert was annoyed with Mac and made it clear that he was perfectly happy with his life, including his relationship with Diane Miller, Carolyn Hennessy. Meanwhile, Carly caught up with Lucas Jones, Van Hansis, at the Metro Court, where a woman with a tiny dog spied on her. Felicia recognized Elaine, Judy Kane, as a private investigator since they'd been competitors in the past, so she wound up talking alone with her. Elaine was clearly the investigator that Martin hired since she kept asking questions about Carly's handsome new guy. Felicia gave Elaine the news that Lucas was Carly's brother and worked it into the conversation that he was also gay. However, Elaine seemed intrigued as she spied on Holly's interaction with Carly. When Holly requested a business meeting with Carly's man, Carly seemed confused about what she meant. Holly mentioned that she'd heard Sonny and Carly were back together, but Carly just urged her to visit Pazzulo's since Sonny was probably there. In a conversation with Lucas, Carly also offered to have Michael Corinthos, Chad Doyle, use his sway on the board to get Brad Cooper, Perry Shen, fired from GH. Lucas insisted he'd already had a talk with Brad to let him know they'd only be interacting about work. Once Sam met up with Dante at the hospital, she helped him calm Rocco down. Dante and Sam didn't want Rocco to lose hope when it came to finding another donor match for Lulu. Back with Lucas, he reunited with Elizabeth Baldwin, Rebecca Herbst, and received disappointing updates on Lucky's inability to be Lulu's donor. In Jack Brennan's, Charles Mazur office, he got the scoop from Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, and Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, on everything that went down in Somalia. Anna wound up thanking Brennan for the drone strike that saved them since she hadn't offered her gratitude yet. Once Jason left, Brennan grilled Anna about why she didn't eliminate Jen Sidwell, Carlo Rhoda, and kept hinting about his desire to use Jason for more missions. Anna insisted Jason wasn't interested and warned that she wouldn't let the WSB ruin his life. While Brennan called Carly about a dinner date, Anna visited Jason's office at the coffee warehouse. Jason looked surprised when Anna asked if they were going to talk about that kiss or not. General Hospital spoilers say Anna and Jason will have to nail down what exactly that smooch meant, so stick with us for more predictions on where things will go from here. On General Hospital on Tuesday, October 8, the drama reached new heights as Secrets and Tensions unfolded across Port Charles. Carly found herself in the middle of a complicated mess. Rocco lashed out in an unexpected outburst, and Lucky Spencer's return to town left everyone scrambling to handle his erratic behavior. Carly's private investigator problem. Carly Corinthos was in her element, determined as ever to get to the bottom of the growing suspicions surrounding her ex-husband, Sonny's latest business moves. Having a long history of being fiercely protective of her loved ones, Carly knew she needed information that wasn't being freely offered. In true Carly fashion, she hired a private investigator to dig deep into Sonny's dealings, even though part of her hesitated. At the Metro Court, Carly's PI walked in with a manila envelope, and she could feel her heart race as she tried to anticipate what she was about to learn. As she flipped through the photographs and documents, her stomach sank. Sonny was seen meeting with some shady new characters, men whose reputations were murky, even by mob standards. It wasn't just the usual underground dealings. It seemed Sonny was entangled in something much more dangerous. "Damn it, Sonny," Carly muttered to herself. She couldn't shake the feeling that whatever Sonny was into could bring down their entire family, not just his empire. Carly realized she had a decision to make. Should she confront Sonny directly or try to handle things herself? Either way, her protective instincts over their children, especially Avery and Donna, kicked into overdrive. But just as Carly was about to make her next move, the PI mentioned something that sent a chill down her spine. "Someone else has been looking into you, Carly," he said, sliding a small stack of papers her way. Carly's eyes widened as she realized the private investigator she hired wasn't the only one working behind the scenes. She was being watched too. Rocco's outburst. Meanwhile, across town, Lulu and Dante Falconeri were at their wits' end dealing with their son, Rocco. The once mild-mannered boy had been acting out ever since he learned about Dante's return from his WSB assignment. While Lulu and Dante tried to present a united front, Rocco wasn't buying it. His resentment had been simmering under the surface for weeks, and today it boiled over. At the Falconeri home, Rocco slammed his bedroom door shut after another argument with his parents. Dante, still struggling to adjust back to civilian life, was torn between disciplining his son and trying to understand what he was going through. Lulu, equally frustrated, tried to calm the situation. "Rocco, we're on your side. You know that, right?" Dante said, attempting to break through the wall Rocco had put up. Rocco glared at his father. "You left us. You left me. You were supposed to protect us, but you weren't there." His voice cracked as the weight of his emotions spilled out. It was the first time Rocco had fully voiced what had been gnawing at him. Dant froze. He'd been trained to deal with hostile situations and dangerous missions, but nothing had prepared him for the hurt in his son's eyes. Before he could respond, Rocco stormed out of the house, leaving Lulu and Dante in stunned silence. Lulu turned to Dante, her face etched with worry. "What do we do?" "He's not just angry, he's heartbroken." Stunt sighed heavily. We can't keep letting this fester. Maybe I need to step back, get him into therapy. He needs to talk to someone who's not us. But it wasn't just about talking. Rocco had never lashed out like this before, and Dante knew the path ahead for father and son wasn't going to be an easy one. Lucky goes wild. At the same time, chaos erupted in a different corner of Port Charles. Lucky Spencer, the prodigal son of Luke and Laura, had returned to town, but this wasn't the same Lucky everyone remembered. Years of heartbreak, addiction, and running from his past had transformed him into a volatile version of himself. Spotted at Charlie's pub earlier in the day, Lucky had been drinking, much to the dismay of those who saw him. Sam McCall, who happened to be there meeting a client, noticed Lucky's disheveled appearance and the look in his eyes. He was on the edge of something dangerous. As the day wore on, word spread through the hospital that Lucky had shown up at the GH roof, causing a scene. Elizabeth Weber, who had always cared deeply for Lucky despite their complicated past, rushed to the hospital when she heard what was happening. When she arrived, she found him pacing near the ledge, eyes wild with confusion and pain. "Lucky, please come down from there," Elizabeth pleaded, trying to keep her voice steady. "Whatever's going on, we can figure it out together." Lucky turned to face her, his expression a mixture of anger and despair. "Figure it out? How, Liz? You don't know what it's like, what I've been through." His words were slurred, but his pain was clear. Elizabeth knew he wasn't thinking straight. "You're right, I don't know. But I do know that you don't have to go through this alone. We've all made mistakes. Lucky. It's not too late to fix things." For a brief moment, Lucky seemed to calm down, his eyes softening. But just as quickly, his mood shifted again. He backed away from the ledge, but his erratic behavior was far from over. Elizabeth stayed by his side, determined not to let him spiral any further. As hospital staff cautiously approached, Elizabeth whispered, "We're going to get you help. I promise." The day ended with Lucky being escorted off the roof and into the care of GH's psychiatric staff. But as Elizabeth watched him being led away, she couldn't shake the feeling that the Lucky she once knew might never fully return. A town on edge. As the sun set on Port Charles, tensions were at an all-time high. Carly was faced with a difficult decision about Sonny's latest business moves and her own looming threat. Rocco's outburst left Dante and Lulu questioning how to mend their fractured family. And Lucky's erratic behavior reminded everyone just how deep the scars of the past can run. With secrets unraveling and emotions boiling over, one thing was clear. The residents of Port Charles were in for a wild ride, and no one was getting off unscathed.